I know you said that GamerGate's about ethics in games journalism. Some people also said that GamerGate was about creative freedom and the right of artists to make the games that they want to make. Were you involved in
Yeah,
that at all?
at times I was, at times where I was like, yeah, you shouldn't be trying to force people to follow you for this reason. There was a stupid game called Hatred, which was a stupid game, but it got attention because the antis kept whining about it. And it's like, you basically threw press onto this game because you didn't like it. It was things like that I was like, that's a stupid premise. I'm not going to play it, but I'm not going to stand in its way of being created. And that's how I always thought of it. Unless it's something that's 100% illegal, like really horrific stuff, or like piracy or stuff like that, where they rip off companies, like rip off music or things like that, or texture files and stuff where they just steal it from other things and try to say they made it, like plagiarizing to a point, but even plagiarizing. Yeah, I'm against that. Digital homicide with what they were doing. Is it digital homicide?
I don't know. I know Hatred
They
though.
were, yeah, but I'm just saying digital homicide. They did a bunch of Jim Sterling always hated them, and I understood why, because like they weren't even games; they were just asset flips. I was always against companies that did that, but I've never, even though I hated it, even though I hated those types, some of the types of games that the I don't want to stand in the way is how I always thought of it. That's how I always thought of it. I just didn't want to stand in the way of a lot of different games journalists, not games journalists. I didn't want to stand in the way of people that were making their art. If it's what they wanted to make, let them make it. If they wanted to make a stupid graphic novel game about, I don't know, just random things. But it's when people get really messed up and they do things that are really messed up. Like just recently, in the indie game cycle, a creator named Yandere Dev, he made there were some messed up things that came out about him. Like I stopped supporting that game when I found out he did some really messed up things. It's when you find out, it's just, it's your preferences of what you like. You want to support the gamer, you can't. The game company, you can. If you don't.
Where do you draw the line between criticism and a censorship campaign?
Criticism and censorship campaign, when you actively try to tell, like, for instance, with Steam, for instance, they have a terms of service. They tell you that, oh, you could put it on here as long as you follow the terms of service. When people try to bypass, when people just go out of their way to bypass that TOS and have the games taken off of it, even though they were right in the TOS, they were right in legal law here in the US. It was everything that was legal that you could do to sell the game. It was your original creation. When people try to jump in the way of the game and try to have it be stopped from being published, that's when I have a problem, because unless it was actually illegal, and I mean illegal, uh, you couldn't. I wouldn't have a problem. Like there's one game from the mid 2000s, the Guy game. You know why that one's illegal? Because one of the contestants was 17 when the game was made. So yeah, they had to ban that game. But I'm just saying, things like that are fine if you have to stop, either fix it or get rid of it if it's that type of thing. But if it's just, oh, like the thing Brianna Wu made, what was that game called again?
Revolution 60?
Revolution 60. Yeah. If if it's just that and they want to make it, let them make it. If they want to put that up there, let them. Or or if you wanted to put a game like Hatred up, there's nothing illegal against the game. You could say, yes, it's in bad taste, but no, you cannot stop it. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, Hatred is in bad taste, but can't stop it, really. Like, there's a lot of racist games out there I do not side with. Like games that actually promote hatred of a certain group or another, I don't support, but I can't actively try to have it deplatformed because, well, if it unless it goes against terms of service, I cannot go after it. I think usually games like that would go against terms of service, but I'm against deplatforming personally.
I know we talked about this a little bit before we went live, but do you have any thoughts on the removal of content from some foreign games when they are localized?
Removal of content. Oh yeah, I get annoyed by that. I mean, I understand why they try doing it like Fire Emblem Fates, when I went into that one about the whole Alice map thing. It's localization that's really the problem. If they don't localize it right, or if they if they don't even have like Final Fantasy VIII, for instance, Squall, they had them always stay quiet. There was like dot 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 every time you would hear them talk, even though there was dialogue, but they were too lazy and they didn't want to translate it. It's things like that. I'm like, okay, that's just dumb. And Ace Combat 3 is another example. They literally took, I think, like what, 30%, 40% of the game out
Yeah,
because they didn't. I mean, it had an interesting premise. It had an anime style story to it. It was pretty interesting. The original premise, we saw the original cutscenes for Ace Combat 3. It actually was pretty good. But they got rid of it for, I don't know why they did it. It was probably localization, but who knows? I never understood it, why they got rid of it. But I mean, yeah, when localization gets screwed up, yeah, I get annoyed by that. But but that right there, like but that right there is a problem of its own. You do not need, damn it. I'm trying to think here. You do not need the whole thing with localization. Crap. Sorry. Go
no,
ahead
you're
and
fine.
ask me a
There's no
question.
rush. There's no rush
I know
because for the
what
book.
it's yeah, my meds keep me from thinking a lot, so it's just localization. It's either the companies want to make it like they were afraid of kicking up controversy about the journalist, which is funny because uh Tecmo or whatever it was that released Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball 3 or Dead or Alive Extreme 3. That's what
Yeah.
it's called. Remember that one, the whole thing? And
Oh
then,
yeah.
yeah, and they're like, oh, we just don't want to do it because we're sick and tired of you guys whining about every little thing. And then, like, a company jumped in and they made an ass load of money by distributing it to the Americans, to the Americans, Europeans. They put the localized game, they put the international copy out there with English text and stuff. They sent that out there, and everybody's like, oh, hey, we could buy it. And I forgot what the company was called, but they made a killing with that game because
Play
everybody's
Asia.
like, yes, that's it.
Did you buy the game?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any interest in the game. It wasn't my thing, but I supported those that wanted to buy it. I I mean, I understand why the company, because they were sick and tired of the bullshit that people kept saying to them. I understand that, but I'm against it, but I understand it for people. I understand, like, they're okay, we're tired of this. We're done with this bull crap anymore. If you want to play it, go through PlayAsia or something like that. We're not handling this anymore. That's basically what it was. It was just the game developers were sick and tired of it, of the call for censorship. They just got sick and tired of it.
Thank you for watching another GamerGate book video segment. For 30 days, starting on December 9th, I'm running a Kickstarter campaign for this project, so please back the campaign for the people of GamerGate on Kickstarter or at gamergatebook.com. This project investigating and documenting the history of GamerGate from a variety of perspectives requires your support, and I appreciate it. Thank you.